Go for a walk, they said. Get some fresh air and exercise. It'll help with the dopamine. It's cold. This month my quest has been to finish the third draft of Beneath the Hawthorn Lies. I've been doing a pretty terrible job of it so far. I just have not had the motivation to actually sit down and get some writing done. Today the kids are back at school, I'm on my own, and it is time for me to try and get as much done in this project as I feasibly can to actually feel like I've made some progress. Hence the walk. And my plan to this morning, head to a coffee shop so I'm not at home with distractions in order to get the best focus. My issue with Beneath the Hawthorn Lies at the moment is that I am re-revising it, in which I mean I spent 6 hours doing like 6 or 7 scenes and lost all of that progress I made, and having to go back and redo everything that I have already done for this draft. This is very, very demotivating. There's people. Why am I doing this in public? It's like I've already done the work. I don't want to have to do it again. I have done it again. I made sure to have those be the first things I completed at the beginning of the month. They are in no way as detailed or as revised as they were originally, because I was like, you know what, just let me make sure it makes sense, make sure that I have added all of the plot element changes into those scenes and dialogue, make sure that I sort of tinker with the motivation of the character, because this is all around the inciting incident and the debate. I will go from there, because once those chapters are done I can move on to where I was, because I skipped it last year, which is just after midpoint. Now my issue lies with, or at least the issue that I was having the past couple of days, is that the 2 scenes immediately after midpoint are brand new scenes. And obviously there's this whole I'm not motivated to write this story, so I was not motivated to write those scenes. So there's more people. Yesterday I skipped the 2 scenes that I needed to write that were completely new and moved on to a couple of other scenes which just needed a revision to, in order to get those done, because that's not new, and sort of hype myself up story-wise in order to want to go back and write those scenes that I have not written yet. And we'll see how I feel when I get to the coffee shop, whether or not I want to finish the last little bit of the scene I'm currently doing and then go back to write the new scenes, or whether I'm still not feeling that motivated and I just want to move on to more scenes I have already written and just need revision, and complete all of those scenes and then go back to the scenes that I'm missing, because maybe I don't need them because they are new inclusions. Maybe in the grand scheme of things I won't need them. I probably will, because there is some character work that I need to do that I didn't do, and those scenes are basically character work, so I can't skip them. But again, we'll see how I feel. We'll see how I feel when I get to the coffee shop and get warm. So let's go.
The white whole area of about 10 stores. Even
Hi, can I please have 2 old-fashioned glazed donuts, please?
2 old-fashioned glazed donuts.
Yes, please.
Is that everything?
Yes, thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. Do I often go to Tim Hortons and just buy 2 donuts? Yes. I don't need to explain why. I know it's supposed to be a poncho, but I sort of like that it is a sleeve, so that's what it is. Also, I put my AirPods in when I got to the coffee shop with the intention of listening to music while I wrote. They stayed off the entire time, so that was pointless. So we did actually do quite a fair amount of work while I was at the coffee shop, which is fantastic. I don't know how many words I wrote. I'm going to find that out now. But I managed to finish the scene that I was talking about, that I was doing instead of writing the new scene. And I started writing one of the scenes that it is I need to do. I need to change the colour of that. It looks awful. And now it's green. So I don't know if it will show up on my actual computer. No, because I did not write 3,000 words today. No. So I've written at least 818 words as a minimum. So that is in the new scene, which I didn't actually think I'd written that much. So the fact that I have written that much, absolutely fantastic. Well done, me. Half my mind is take a break. You've done some really good work. But the other half of my brain is if you take a break now, you're not going to stop taking a break and you're going to continue taking a break for the rest of the day. So we need to push on while I have the motivation to maybe not do writing, but have the motivation to do something. So I might as well do writing with it, right? I'm not going to give myself any firm plans, because I think when I give myself firm plans, like my plan for the rest of today is to do X, Y, and Z, that's pressure. And then I'll feel bad that I'm taking so long to do it, and I'll have to push past not wanting to write anymore in order to get it done, because I've said that's the plan. So my aim for the rest of the day is just to write as much as I comfortably can write while I feel comfortable and in the mood to do some work. And if I finish a couple of scenes while that happens, great, fantastic. If that peters out a little bit, but I get a little bit more of this done, okay, great, that's fine. I'll be happy with that. Today, my critique partner is doing a live stream at some point today. I need to double check what the time is. Might hop onto that. That will class as body doubling, so that will keep me doing some work, lest I feel bad that other people are doing work and I'm not doing work. And then try and keep as focused as I can until I need to start picking the kids up from school, and then I guess I can do whatever afterwards when I'm going to have less chance of maintaining focus with the kids at home. And then maybe a little bit later do some more writing once I've gone to bed, or am I planning too far ahead and that's going to freak me out? The first step for that though includes making tea, and then we'll get started. So I'm having trouble with the scene that I'm writing, and that is I don't know how to transition the different parts of the scene that I have going on in a way that makes sense. So this is one of the new scenes that I have added to Beneath the Hawthorn Lies in order to add more character depth to not only the main character Kinley, but to one of the secondary characters, in order to further deepen the emotional state and stakes and tension in regards to a later plot point. It is needed in order to sort of understand why this secondary character reacts the way they do when this plot point happens. The issue I'm having is, because obviously I don't just want a character info dumping session that sort of feels like it has no meaning in the moment. I do need this scene to sort of move Kinley, who's the main character, onto the next part of her goal. This scene comes directly after midpoint, where Kinley, who's the main character, finds out some very important information. And now she is trying to figure out what her next steps are. So this scene that I'm writing, which is probably then going to also be the first half of the next chapter, is sort of doing two things that don't quite go together. I guess we're having this sort of really in-depth personal talk with one of the other secondary characters, but she's also thinking about what she needs to do next. And I'm trying to transition naturally between some inner monologue regarding the information she's received to this personal conversation, and how to sort of enter this personal conversation without it apparently coming from nowhere, to then transition out of that personal conversation and into her inner thoughts of, this is what I need to do next, and then transition into the thing that she needs to do next. And at the moment, the scene is just in parts. So we've got the inner monologue at the top, and then we've got a big chunk in the middle where we have this personal conversation. And then I've got a little paragraph at the end, which is her revelation on this is what she needs to do next. And I don't know how to fit those chunks together, or not just jumping from one to the next. I mean, I'll figure it out. It's just stalling me slightly because I don't want to just write whatever and be done with it. I want it to at least have some sort of decent flow, so that when it comes to revisions next time, it is easier to fix. But I might just do it as roughly and as badly as I can, just so I can move on, because I'm going to have to revise it in the future anyway. To do it nicely or to do it badly? It's the forever question with writing, isn't it? Is it my job, or is it going to be future Sarah's job? I think we all know the answer to that question. It's cold, don't judge me. So in the end, obviously, I chose it to be future Sarah's problem, just to get it done. I just need to get it done. I can't sit here and ruminate over the best way to do things, because that's how things don't get done. So we have just finished the scene that I was earlier complaining about. It is done. It is 1,630 words, which is fine, because I suppose the way I've ended it, it can then move quite easily into the next scene, which is the scene where Kinley goes to find a fairy who lives in the human world to help her with what she needs to do. That's going to be a bit of a difficult scene to write, because it's sort of like a negotiation scene. I need to think of a way that makes sense for this fairy to help Kinley, rather than continuing to try and curry favour with the queen of the fairies. You know, queen, some lowly human changeling. Who would you rather assist, you know? So I sort of have a plan on how, or at least the direction, Kinley's going to take that conversation in order to try and get this fairy not onto her side, but to give her the information she needs. Obviously, I'm going to need to figure out a decent way to write it. I'm not going to do that now. I've got maybe an hour before I need to leave to go and pick up the kids. So what I want to do is flip forward now to a scene I have already written, just to, oh, I don't like that text, just to give my brain a little break from the thinking of new stuff to just very easily fixing the stuff that I'm already writing. And I think that would be a nice way to sort of bookend. Let me fix these spelling mistakes I made when I was at the coffee shop. And I forgot what I was saying. That would be a nice way to sort of bookend the whole writing session that I've done. Something easy, something new, something easy again to sort of ease me out of it. Sort of leave myself on a high, yes, I did all of this accomplishment, and then we'll see if that can entice me to heading back into doing some more writing in the evening after the kids have gone to bed. I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm definitely going to do that. I will keep it in mind and I'll see how I feel as I continue on through the day. This is what I have to be like now, giving myself the smallest task possible to maximize the reward in my head, and it'll want me to keep doing more because yay, I did something. I also need to get lunch. Oh, I need to get lunch. It's 1:30. I have an hour. If I write, I'm gonna write and then not get lunch. But if I get lunch first, I might not then write. I will get some tea. No, I won't get some tea, because tea will not go with the lunch that I want. I'm gonna get some lunch first. I can get lunch and I can write as I eat. Best of both worlds. Let's do that. I am 100% decided that I am not going to think about at all the fact that I am 100% on the fence, not sure, doubting the new pacing that I have for this new plot. The way that I had it before, when Kinley finds out that she is a changeling and not in fact a fairy, her whole motivation is to travel to the human world to find her fairy counterpart. That was the original. That motivation has now changed because I couldn't really quite go anywhere with that particular storyline without it being too, I don't know, it's a bit too difficult to sort of work out. So there weren't enough stakes involved with that sort of motivation and the plot as it went on. So her new motivation is, one, she discovers Fairy Queen's secret, is scared by this secret, and when she's discovered to have learned this secret, she escapes to the human world, and her plan is to stop the Queen from doing what she is doing. That is her new motivation, because if she doesn't stop the Queen will kill her friends and then kill her. And also she can't just run away, because the Queen will continue to chase her for abandoning the fairy world, and she will never get a moment's peace in her entire life, and she'd always have to watch her back, etc, etc. So the only thing she can do is stop the Queen. That motivation has definitely upped the stakes for the character. It is up the stakes in the novel as well, which is great. I forgot what I was saying. Okay. So because I've made these changes, the beginning of the novel to up until about midpoint-ish stays relatively the same, in which Kinley doesn't quite know what she needs to do or how to go about what she's doing. And then midpoint is where she learns what she needs to do in order to stop the Queen. And from midpoint, which is scene 30, up until scene 36, she enacts this plan. I don't like the pacing where she knows nothing and then it's midpoint, and then probably what takes course over 2 chapters, she finds out what she needs to do. She finds out how she needs to do it, and then she does it. And that is her goal done, until she learns it's a false victory and then the other bad thing happens. And I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm 100% ignoring the fact that I don't feel good about the pacing of that. One, because I'm not sure whether it's going to be like, oh, it feels bad because I'm writing it in scenes and not full chapters. 2, I don't know how it's going to read as a whole novel, because obviously then her motivation changes based on what has happened. So I just need to write what I've got and be happy with what I've got and push forth despite my questions about it. Because if I start questioning it, I'm going to want to change it, and that's going to just push me back even further in completion. My lunch. A very bad interpretation of ramen noodles. There's an egg in there somewhere. Let's not pretend I actually did more work in the afternoon, because I really quite didn't. I've literally just finished doing a sprint now, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. Technically, I am supposed to be in the middle of another one. So I did skip the old scene. No, I didn't. I did skip the new scene, and I'm just quickly working through a scene that doesn't need too many changes to it, just to sort of finish off the rest of the day, trying to work through it, which I can probably do in the next 15 minutes, so that's a plus. I'm happy about that, and I'm happy about the amount of work I've managed to get done today. I'm still a little bit unsure about the pacing of how I've reset it, but again, I'm trying not to think about that. And I am quite happy with how scene 31 with all of the conversations went and how that flows. So hopefully within that context of the whole bigger story, it will make sense for it to be there, and hopefully the emotional payoff later will be a little bit more impactful than it is currently. It remains to be seen. It was a good day. It was a good day. Hopefully going forward we will continue to have decent days, and whether or not I'm going to continue just revising the scenes I've currently got and working on my new scenes after the fact, or whether I'll start going in order, remains to be seen. But suppose we'll just have to see how I'm feeling on the actual day. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.